I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world. The universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest or the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't even matter whether you the proclaimed toughest or the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't even matter whether you are my family, friends, or my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter whether you like me, my YouTube videos, whether you like what I say, whether you like the way I say it. It doesn't even matter whether you give me constructive criticism or give me negative or positive comments on my YouTube video. It doesn't matter if you're dark-skinned or light-skinned. I greet all you all with the same universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. The reason why I have focused on this particular picture, wait, let me tell you first, today is April the 20th, 2020. Time being about 6:40 a.m. in the morning. Look at the robin. The robin wants some water. More than likely, it may go over there to the water while I'm videoing. You know, the animals, they seem to come around when I'm talking. I believe they understand some of the things that I'm saying. But what I want to say is today is the 20th of April, the year 2020, the time of the vision. Trying to open some people's eyes. Some people claim that I'm trying to get attention. But I'm not trying to get attention for me. I'm trying to get somebody else's attention to wake up. It's a lot of evil people, even in your families, even in the churches, even in the courthouse, even in the legal system, even in law enforcement. It's evil all around. But see, you don't have to prove evil. Evil will prove themselves. Now, we have an individual that claims that they're my children's cousin, and they're the cousins of my children's auntie on their mother's side. And they claim that I'm trying to keep my children away from other people, from being by themselves with them, because my children want to tell their story, allegedly about me being an evil dad. But I want to ask this individual that's so concerned about my two young daughters, and his or her allegedly cousin, I'm not going to even say his name or anybody's name, but we're going to show you some pictures. Now, these pictures you see here is after. You see a cast on my youngest daughter's arm. She had barely turned 2. That's me and her and her sister. That's what it been just about their entire life. That's her and her sister. This is after the cast was taken off. But let me show you what caused the cast. You know, this sole concerned cousin, for the protection of his cousin. If you hear something running, that's the water. But let me show you. On May the 19th, on Malcolm X's birthday, a little bit after midnight of 2008, my daughters was going on 2 and 3 years old. The police department here in Charleston, Missouri, not all, if you're not a part of it, don't worry about it. Allegedly, a judge in the 33rd Circuit Court here in Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County, gave them an approval to come in to take my children and give them to their mother, knowing she was out of the house for 72 hours straight. But anytime you taking children from somebody, anybody that knows well enough, DCF be involved because they want to make sure the children are getting in the right hands. But DCF wasn't involved. But I tell you who was. Robert Bobby Hearns, chief of police. His police the one came in, so he should know what they doing. He told me the very next day after I tell you this story, that DC, he didn't have nothing to do with it, DCF. That's a lie. Now, my daughters and them was taken out of my house here on Vine. And Susanna Wesley Family Learning Center, they put them in this shelter. The blacks that was working at Susanna Wesley Family Learning Center at the time in 2008, all of them knew the situation. Some of the blacks would come by and tell me, I seen your kids and their mother today, they doing fine. They doing fine, they said. Now, Susanna Wesley Police Department, some of these black leaders and white leaders, law enforcement officials, they helped the mother get out of the state with them in my children's residence here. But let me show you where they ended up at. For 70 days and 70 nights. Now, the sister is so concerned, the cousin is so concerned about me talking about his other cousin, his sister. Now, they lived, where they at now, they in what they call Cabrini Green, the row houses on the near north side in Chicago, Illinois, where I grew up, where their mother moved in probably the 80s with her mother. But let me show you this here. Now, one side of the street, the west side of the street is open. Everything east of it is closed. Now, these is my two daughters, barely 1 and 2 years old. You remember the cast? You see the sippy cup? That's the arm that was broken. She out in the streets now with her arm broken. This happened to be in July. This is the same month I got it. The only one trying to help is my family and friends. None of my children's mother's family, not even the one that called himself the cousin of them, where was he at when they, right here in these row houses, Cabrini Green, if he in Chicago and I'm way down here in Missouri and people got an eye on my children to help me get them back, do you see what's going on? Let me see. You see what that is? If you don't know, it's either rocks or heroin. They see some of my people videoing. They don't care about my children, who they was left with to watch. They go over here. But look at my children's. Queen, she always been a leader. Birdie depended on Queen when I wasn't around. But this was the condition of my children's, y'all. For those that always try to say something negative, what was you at to protect them? Did no leader, did nobody besides my family and friends was there with me. What no leaders down here in Charleston, Missouri, religious, legal, none of them tried to help. But even though that was the second time that children's mother and them ran off with my children's, you know what? This was July of 2008 when I got them back. I took them to St. Louis and they found out my little young baby Birdies had a elbow half fracture for a minimum of two weeks. It could have been longer, but they said a minimum of 2 weeks because the doctor, she said that from the calcium buildup, she can tell that it was a minimum of 2 weeks. But you know, all y'all said that I was abusive to their mother. This was 2008. Let me show you, me and my two daughters went up to Chicago several times when their mother got locked up, may she rest in peace, to talk to the judge, to tell him that she got these two children, not the sister, evil sister with the other 3 children, who were all juveniles then. But let me show you what me and my daughters did. 800-mile round trip. You see this? Susanna Wesley didn't do this here. This is their mother that we helped get in a program because we went up there. You see that? Remember July of 2008, they took my children, in May of 2008, and I got them back in July. But this is not September the 11th, 2010. Do you see who that is? She ain't got the cash no more, but they still showing, I'm still letting them show love to their mother. Anybody that say I'm evil, I wouldn't have nowhere around them after this. And this is not the first time. You see what I'm saying? After this is not the first time. Look at my baby. She can't hardly lift that right arm where that sippy cup is because it's a fracture, elbow fracture. In the streets, y'all, suffering. But you see, I let my children go to this treatment center that she was at Cook County Jail. You see what I'm saying? Not just in September, but look at that. You see the date? Now, tell me what Susanna Wesley and them did besides get money, letting her sit up in their center, knowing that she was addicted to narcotics that she need help for. They didn't want no help. The black other whites didn't want no help. They wanted money. They get millions of dollars with them programs, then put the females right back out in the streets. If they had an abusive individual with them, the abusive individual gonna get them again. But you see, I ain't never harmed her. I ain't never harmed her. Today, y'all, reason why I'm up so early, Saturday I missed it. You see that certified thing there? I'm getting the death certificate. I bet you one thing, it won't say Raymond Lewis Ivy gonna be charged with abusing her or doing something to her. Thank God that I was down here and not in Indiana. We tried to protect her, but you know, you can just do so much when you going up against crooked law enforcement officials, when you're going up against an evil family. You see what I'm saying? When you're going up against evil people out in the streets. You see what I'm saying? Drug dealers that's dealing hand in hand with corrupted Charleston, Missouri Police Department. Even the sister had a couple of Chicago police that was corrupted that helped them. But they let her live out in the streets because they wanted her to live it out so she can get locked up, and they thought that they would get custody of my kids because the other men, for the other three fathers of her other three children, they didn't care. But I cared about mine. I'm a real man. Don't let that individual to tell y'all that he's some kin to my two children in the kin to the other female whose whole family is Puerto Rican in Dominion. And he claimed to be 100% black. We know that ain't possible. But then at the same time, we know he couldn't have cared about my children or he would have got them out of the streets. None of his family didn't. None of her family didn't. They knew what she was doing. You see what I'm saying? But you see, my babies and them suffered. But that's why I stand up. And those that don't like what I'm saying on my YouTube video, do you think I care? You didn't care about her arm. You didn't care about them starving out in the streets. You ain't never seen them looking like this down here with me. You see what I'm saying? You never seen them looking like that. You ain't never seen no drug dealers watching my kids. This what you seen with mine. That's what you don't like. But I tell y'all threatening me, talking about coming to Chicago. I'm going to go any place on the face of this earth I want to. And like I said, I don't want to take a life. But I tell you, I will, and I know how, if you approach me the wrong way. Now let's see what that death certificate gonna say today. Peace be still.